Hey, YouTube, RAPTall back here with another Wi-Fi battle. My opponent this time is Chenmaster2. This is a new team, a sandstorm team for me. This is actually the very first battle I had with it. I was going to have a couple of test battles, and not record them, but this one was such a fun battle and kind of nail-biting all the way to the end, I couldn't resist putting it up. So anyway, I start with a pot on lead to set up my sand, and he has a Roserade, so I want to get the heck out of there. Fury in the grass move. He instead goes for the sleep powder, probably expecting my switch. Luckily, I go to my Celebi, which has natural cure, so it's going to be able to absorb the sleep, switch out of there, and be cured to sleep, which is pretty awesome, and I'm okay with that. He goes into his Wally, which is his Registeel. Oh, Wally. I love that movie. Such a fun movie. Anyway, I go into my Zapdos here, thinking he could Earthquake me or something, so I could get rid of that, or if he's going to set up rocks, get in before the rocks, which is exactly what he does. I went for the Heat Wave because it is super effective, but it didn't really do a whole lot. Now, this Zapdos is specially defensive bulky, so it doesn't really have any special attack EVs. But even so, I thought it would do more than that. Oh well. I switched back into my Hippowdon here while he goes for the Protect, so that worked out pretty well for me. And I want to set up my own Stealth Rocks, so that's what I do. But he brings in a Fortress, yeah. And knowing I can't really touch it, I'm going to switch back out into my Celebi because I have Leech Seed, and I think that's going to be a good way to try and kill this thing off eventually, or try and get it to switch out. He switches out, so the Zapdos is going to take my Leech Seed, and I am perfectly fine with that. Now, my Zapdos is Heat Wave, and I expect that his is going to have Heat Wave too. So what I want to do is I want to switch out here into the greatest Pokemon of all time, Aggron! Woo! Aggron in the third generation was one of my favorite Pokemon ever. I had to have it on my team, and so I had to have it on my Sandstorm team. Um, he is pretty awesome. He's a freaking dinosaur with steel plating who eats rocks. Yeah. On the Switch, I go for the Rock Polish. I really like the Rock Polish set. It makes him into quite the sweeper. If something doesn't have a choice scarf or things like that, it can really wreck things even that would normally come in and be faster than it. It is life orbed, so it can do a lot of damage, and especially with this thing, or no, he switched out the Zapdos, which had least seed on it. But now that is a 4 times weak Earthquake that my Aggron just took. Granted, it is against a wall Pokemon that isn't super offensive. Even so, I was super excited. The Earthquake doesn't quite take him out. I was kind of bummed about that. But at the same time, Registeel is a very, very bulky Pokemon. So I guess, it is what it is. I go to my Zapdos to go for the safe Heat Wave, knowing that it's going to kill it, and he's probably going to leave it in for Death Fire because it might not even be able to make another switch in with Stealth Rocks up. So that's good for me. And at this point, he goes back into the Roserade. So I didn't even think about HP Ice at the time, but that's exactly what it goes for. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm especially bulky. I should be able to live pretty well, but it's going down, down, down. Oh, shit. But it was a crit, which, that really sucks. I was pissed off about that because this thing could have lived for so much longer without that crit. But so Roserade goes down to Sandstorm, but I live, which is awesome. I was pretty excited about that. So I'm like, I have one more chance. Brings out a Kingdra. I go for the light screen here, kind of as a last ditch effort, which ends up not helping my team at all because this thing is a DD Kingdra. It's like, well, crap. This thing is gonna just kill me now and not care about that stupid light screen. I feel Zapdos did its job in this battle, so I'm just going to let it die. While I go into my Celebi, I know this thing is probably going to have water moves and Outrage. And my Celebi is physically bulky, so I think even with the DD up, I can live one Outrage, put up a Leech Seed. So now Leech Seed and Sand is going to be taking this thing down. I assume since it has Outrage, if you've watched my battles, I've had a lot of DD Kingdras that I've gone up against, which I didn't realize it was that popular for Pokemon. Now I go out into a Sizer. This is obviously a different Sizer than the one I have on my original team. This is a Choice Band Sizer. Um, so the U-turn, Super Power, Bullet Punch, and Pursuit. I go for the Bullet Punch here. Now, obviously, I know it's not very effective, but I figured if I could kill it in one hit, then I would be able to escape the second Outrage attack. If not, and also if I didn't kill it, I might be able to get some Leech Seed recovery back. I do, but sadly, it really amounts to nothing. So, I mean, either way, I think I was going to die, and I was going to take a hit. It is what it is. I do lock myself into a Bullet Punch, though, which is not going to do crap to this Fortress. Now, here I'm thinking, it's going to kill me, and I'll just leave it in for death, my Scissor in for Death Fodder, and that'll be that. So I just go for the Bullet Punch to do more damage, expecting it to kill me. But he goes up for Spikes. Now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to keep my Scissor and go into my Spinner, which is my Tentacruel. And that was a very, very good move, which you will find out later in the battle. Yeah. Now, all I want to do here is get rid of all the stuff that he's been setting up and maybe kill it with a Surfer, too. So I'm going to go for the Rapid Spin because I know I'm obviously faster than this thing and see what it does from there. But this thing just goes for the Explosion, blows up in my face, which takes us both down. I'm actually kind of happy he did, because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to kill that damn Fortress. So yeah, that actually works out, I think, better to my advantage than it does to his. Go back into my lead. Rocks are gone on my side. Now, I have Ice Fang on this thing, and I'm very glad I do. But he goes for the Roost, so that means it's not going to be super effective against the Zapdos. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, I'm going to set up my Rocks again. It could help if I get late enough in this battle. Now, the Heat Wave isn't enough for a 2-hit KO. It's a 3-hit KO. And at this health, I expect him to go for the Roost again, predicting my Ice Fang. So I actually go for the Earthquake. If you're looking at this and you see the Earthquake, like, oh, that's a dumb move. But, I was predicting this, the Roost. Bad prediction. You can't always, win them all. So at this point, I'm like, well, that sucks. I should have just gone for the Slack Off, the safe move. But I made a risky play, and it didn't work out. In some ways, though, it was kind of a good thing, because with the Life Orb damage and the Sandstorm damage, this thing is very low. And Scizor, which I saved from Death Fodder, can come in and Bullet Punch this thing to death. It is resistant, but a Choice-banded Bullet Punch is going to take that thing out, which saves my butts. And what he has coming out is a Gyarados, and it is pissed off. It is angry. It is so angry that it makes my Scizor piss its pants and lower its attack. That's how scared it makes my Scizor. But it kills Scizor, and all I have left is my Celebi. So it's down to 1 versus 1 here. I know I'm faster. Well, I assume I'm faster than it. And it looks to be a bulky Gyarados to me. So if it has the Ice Fang, I'm dead. If it doesn't have the Ice Fang, I can win this. And it doesn't. Goes for Stone Edge, misses, and at this point he knows that he can't beat me one-on-one. So he is going to run and end the battle, but great game, Chenmaster2. That was a really nail-biting match for me. I had a lot of fun. Anyway, comment, rate, sub, and I will see you all later. Bye.